I gotta, what have I done? So this guy, St. Francis, he started a chain of events that came to light to me this morning. And I mean, I don't know how this video is going to end up. I'm definitely going to have to write all this down. But I got to video it now so I don't forget. And I mean, I've been in the bed. I was asleep. I got a text last night that started this stuff, started all this. And I guess all night I've been thinking about it and dreaming about it or whatever. And woke up this morning, or half conscious or something. Shut up. And just like the stars aligned, I started connecting all these dots. I don't know. It makes sense in my head. I don't know. Maybe I'm having a mental breakdown or something. Oh, fuck. What have I done now? But, shit. Just gotta remember not to move the chair when I sit down. Look up. So I started connecting all these dots. And I'm in there. I mean, I'm bawling, crying. I was like, holy shit, you know, how all this shit comes together. It's funny, I'm probably making a documentary of a guy going insane, because that's how I feel. I feel like I'm losing my shit. But I've been, this guy commissioned me to carve that statue. And so my mind is all over. I mean, I got all this stuff in my head that I'm trying to put together so I can tell other people all the weird shit that goes on in my head. I get this text last night from a friend of mine, a good friend of mine, and he's got cancer. And I made him a drum, a medicine drum. You know, I told him, I said, you just beat on this drum and it'll drive the evil spirits away. But I've been I've been stressing at work because I came up with this idea and I sold it, and now I got to build it, and I'm not sure if I can do it. But the whole idea was based on Tom's drum, the medicine drum that I made him. And I know it'll work. Anyway, I'm worried. I know, so I came up with this plan about this slide at the hard job. Probably, I don't know if you saw the video or not, or, I'm pissing and moaning. This guy, this architect wants to put a box over it, and I'm like, yeah, it's fucking stupid. So in my head, I'm like, I can make a medicine drum over top of this slide. I can do it just like I made Tom's drum. Cut all these staves at the right angle, glue them together, make this wall. But usually when I do shit like this, I'm doing it for me, for my parents. If I fuck up, it's friends and family. But this is. I mean, these people are relying on me. I mean, that woman wants in her house, and the one thing that's keeping her from getting in that house is that damn slide. And it is up to me to make that thing safe so she can get her CO. And I sold this fucking idea, and now I'm stressing about it. It's just got me. I know I can do it. It's all kinds of stress. It's not just that. I mean, that whole job, these fucking dogs, people dropping like flies all around me. So I grabbed my legal pad. To make notes, because I don't want to forget how all this went together. And what's on top of the legal pad? A quote from somebody, and I thought it was cool, so I wrote it down so I wouldn't forget. It says, craftsman knows in advance what the finished result will be. While the artist knows only what it will be when he's finished. So that makes me an artist. So this guy commissions me to carve this statue. And I'm out there carving on it. I beat Tom. I'm Walker. I hope he doesn't mind me saying his name. He pulls up. Hey, I don't remember exactly what was going on. He wanted to know if I could carve him some signs for his property. When he texted me last night, you know, he said he wanted to get together and he didn't mind, you know, talking about his situation. You know, when I got hurt, when I messed my feet up, I laid in that bed. People were calling me, how you doing, and this and that. Y'all leave me the fuck alone, man. I don't want to, you know, I'm stuck in this bed. And I don't want y'all calling me and reminding me about the fact that I'm stuck in this bed. I mean, I know y'all wish me well and all that, but I didn't want people talking to me. I didn't want to be reminded of where I was. Because I'm a goer. I'm a walker. I'm a hiker. I mean, my mother, she used to get so pissed off at me because I'll wear these, you know, I'm doing this construction, I wear these big heavy boots. You know, even when you got two good hands, it takes you 5 minutes just to tie them fucking things up. But I'd come in the house, drop mud everywhere. She's raising hell, take my boots off. And I'm like, I ain't taking my boots off. I gotta protect my feet. And I did. I mean, I mean, I'm respectful. I was respectful, but I just wasn't taking my damn boots off every time I came in and out of the house. It was too much time, and my feet were that important to me. Dumbass. I started getting older and things started hurting, so I said, well, I got to get rid of these big boots. Ended up wearing some goofy half-ass tennis shoe, jump off a wall and fuck my feet all up. If I'd have had my boots on, I'd have probably just walked away with another good story. But my mom got cancer. She got it twice. Or got one and came back, or whatever the hell it was. And you know, when I first heard about it, I remember we were living on Dakins. She called me and told me, and I stayed cool and calm, and I hung the phone up, and I lost my shit. I mean, I lost it. You know, but then I got to thinking about it. And I said, my mom is not going to die of cancer. There's no fucking way. I said, if she dies of something, it's going to be from some disease from dragging dead loggerhead turtles out of the Chesapeake Bay, or fucking with snakes and rats. You know, it ain't going to be cancer. Cancer come take a bite out of her ass, and it's going to break all its teeth. You know. And then she got it again, and the doctors were they weren't optimistic. You know, she wanted a stem cell transplant, and they wouldn't give it to her. You know, they said she was too old, and she wouldn't survive, and you know, whatever. And my mother, like me, don't tell her you can't do something, because she'll prove you wrong. And she fought and fought to get that stem cell transplant, and she got it. She's 80-some years old. She just had her birthday. 80-some years old. Doing well. Lived to see 2 more grandkids come into her life. But cancer ain't killing my mother. When I was a kid, I guess I was like 8 or 9 years old. We have this big round dining room table. I love that fucking table. I mentioned that table in a couple of my stories, as a matter of fact. But I was coming home, and there was always these trinkets, these little toys, things on the table. And I was, oh, cool. Mom got me a toy. Well, we'd get in the car and drive down the road. She'd pull over and throw this toy in the mailbox. Who the fuck is taking my toys? I'm like, God damn it, what the hell's going on? Why is she giving my toys away? Sometime later, I'm down there at Bayvon, I got all these beautiful sugar sand beaches, sand dunes, and water. And my dumbass is over in the woods building a little fucking hut by this retention pond. Fucking cesspool. But I'm over there chopping and building and fishing. And this kid comes up. What are you doing? Making a fort and fishing. He said, cool, can I see your hatchet? And I said, sure. I don't know who the fuck this kid is. He's chopping. I guess sooner or later he got bit by enough mosquitoes and figured I was a dumbass out there in the woods. And he said, all right, I'll see you later. He goes off. I watch him. He walks up into Sheila Rose cottage. And there's a hammock. And there's a girl swinging in a hammock, and this kid walks in there, and you can hear him, but you can't hear him. You know what the fuck's going on. This woman walks out, talking to Sheila. They had this table, and talking to Sheila, and I heard something. I don't remember what it was I heard, but I put it together, and it was Ray Anderson and Cavill Anderson and Miss Anderson. And their father had passed away. And my mother was going up and sticking little toys in the fucking mailbox. We all became good friends. Anyway. Me and Ray, Cavill, Miss A, we all became pals. So I'm carving this fucking statue. Time comes up. Hey, I got this place. Can you carve me signs? Yeah, I can do that. Yeah. Go up there and look. I mean, hunting land was a fucking premium. I mean, you couldn't find it. Couldn't have, we had some property. It is up. It is up. We're just right around the corner from each other. And this guy he doesn't know me from shit. Gives me the keys to his place. tells me go up there and hunt and have a good time. I mean, I told him, I said, he's the most generous guy I ever met. And he is. He loves to have a good time, and he loves his friends. Anyway, we hit it off. And we started hunting together. I mean, we had fun, man. We would have a blast. I'm gonna read you the story about the fun we had. But good times. But the funny thing is, I'm gonna read the story, but just I'm not putting all this together right. But the guy that commissioned me to carve that statue was Cabell Anderson's first boyfriend. I think his name was Patrick. Dark hair. I think they did forensics together or drama or something. It wasn't Rick the Stick. It was the guy before that. But he was the guy. Now, I didn't recognize him at first. And I was like, you used to date Cabell Anderson. Anyway, let me read you this story about Tom. I'll never make it through this either. This is called Cover the Damn River. And this one's for you, Tom. If you're watching. The end of hunting season brings about different emotions to different people. Some having a feeling of sadness and regret, wishing they had more time. Others a big sigh of relief, thinking about sleeping in late next Saturday. This year's end was no different, except for one void that overshadowed all emotions and all of whom I hunted with. For as the last deer drive began, all the hunters knew there was one stand vacant. The stand that was usually occupied by a great friend and leader, but would be no longer, for his long battle with cancer had finally stolen him away from us. He will be sorely missed. Other than that, things were pretty much the norm. We were having our annual end of the year Mary Elizabeth Hicks hunt, where 25 to 30 friends of all walks of life get together on the last 2 days of deer season and practice chasing deer away with missed shots. We did, man. We'd set these drives up. Yeah, I mean, it just sound like a young war going on. Come back, and, we killed a bunch of deer, but we missed. For every deer we killed, I bet we missed 3. Things were pretty much as I expected, which is to say a colossal jovial cluster of mass confusion. The regular players were predictable as well. The bar was late. Hank tried to maintain control and set up drives. Ray took control and set up drives. Tom smiled a lot and pretending to know what was going on. And Ward wanted to be near his truck so he wouldn't miss lunch. And I simply said what I always say. I don't care where you go or what you do, so long as you cover the damn river. So like I said, situation normal. The one thing that wasn't normal was me. I was yet another year older and had been fighting a prostate infection for 4 months. Needless to say, my youthful spring and enthusiasm was waning. This became quite obvious near the end of the last drive. It's worth noting that I had been hunting hard for 3 days prior to this drive, not taking a stand on some lazy boy recliner suspended in a tree, but driving dogs, hiking hills, and hauling out deer, all on about 4 hours of scotch-induced sleep per night. I was exhausted to the point of delirium. I felt kind of like what I expect a pregnant woman feels like after an 18-hour delivery. Well, maybe not that bad, but I was spent. So as I waded through yet another briar-tangled thicket at the crest of yet another 40-degree sloping hill, I just had to take a break. I remember finding an old hickory stump that sort of grew out of a small depression. And as I leaned against it, I soon found myself wilting and eventually melted into a crescent moon seated position. It felt good to be off my feet. I figured just a couple minutes rest and I'd be good to go. I just needed to catch my breath and work the cramps out of my calves. Then I'd get up, hike the dogs, jump another deer for the guys to miss. But as the old saying goes, there's no rest for the weary. Excuse me. Just as my heart rate was returning to normal, I thought I heard someone whistle at me. I looked around but saw no one. Excuse me. Then I heard someone yell out, "Kevin." I immediately jumped up, springing to attention. I didn't want anyone to know I was resting. It might ruin my reputation as a superhuman dog-driving, deer-killing machine. I spun around on my heels trying to look fresh and young, and looked behind the hickory stump. There stood Bill, leaning on the same stump I was. I couldn't believe I had walked right past him. "Damn, Bill," I said, "you scared me. I didn't see you standing there." "Well, I guess not," he replied. "You can't see with your eyes shut." I was busted. "Oh yeah, I was just taking a little break to catch my breath. Anyway, I didn't even know you were hunting today. I didn't see you up at Dog Hill when we were setting up the drive." "Damn, boy, you call yourself a hunter? You can't even see what's standing in front of you." Bill was having fun with me now. I did feel a bit embarrassed, so I thought I'd joke back with him a little. So I tell him, "Well, shit, Bill, I don't expect to have to look for you. Usually I just listen for some loud arguing, and I know you and Hank are here." "Yeah, well, I gave up arguing with Hank. It's like talking to that stump. Bill and I both laughed a bit, remembering some of the classic verbal wars of previous hunts. Then it occurred to me where we were both standing. All the way in the back, right above the river. Damn. You see, a lot of times when I make this drive, I circle way outside the block and start 400 to 500 yards behind the stands. Most of the guys walk to their stands so hard and heavy, they bump deer to the river before they even get out of the truck. If there's one thing everyone knows about me, I hate losing my dogs across the river. That's why on this particular drive, I march straight to the back and then drive back toward the block. But it's one hell of a hike. And I found it curious that Bill was way back here before me. So I asked, "Hey Bill, what are you doing back here anyway? It's a hell of a hike." Bill sort of tilted his head down. Come on, man. Come on. Sort of tilted his head down and peered over his glasses. If you know Bill, you know the look. Then he replied, "Kevin, you know those dumbasses jump deer to the river before they ever get out of their truck. And I know how you hate losing your dogs across the river. So I decided to come down here before things got started and try to turn them." Man, I really appreciate it, Bill. But how did you get back here so fast? Those damn hills like to kill me. Hell, I feel pretty good today. Plus, I move around a lot better now. I'm glad someone feels good. I feel like shit. My feet hurt, my legs hurt, I can't half breathe. I just can't drive. Boy, don't tell me about pain. I had cancer for years, and between chemo and amputations, I've forgotten more about pain than you'll ever know. I knew Bill was joking with me, but I did feel kind of foolish talking about my little aches and pains. Embarrassed, I tell him, "Yeah, Bill, you're right. Aching feet just don't compare to losing an arm. I just wish I wasn't so tired." Good God, son. I didn't come all the way down here to listen to you whine like a little girl. Are we going to kill some deer or what? Yeah, you're right. Just give me one more minute to rest. Shit, son, those minutes can get hard to come by. And take it from someone who knows you can rest when you're dead. Huh? Get up. What? Wake up. I jumped abruptly as my hat fell off my head. I'm up, I yelled, but there was no one around. I was dazed and confused. I swore I was just talking to Bill, and now I'm laying in a ditch beside a hickory stump talking to myself. I sprang to my feet and tried to compose myself. Then I heard Lewis Walker on the radio. "Hey Kevin, you copy?" "Yeah, Lewis, go ahead." "You done driving? Is that it?" I thought for a moment about how I was feeling. It would be real easy to call that the end of the year. Then I remembered Bill and what he said. I remember how far he had hiked to give me the message. How about you, Lewis? Yeah, go ahead. Unfortunately for me, I see 2 or 3 more hills with a target-rich environment. So anyone that wants a shot better stay on your stand. I think I'm fixing to jump some deer. 10-4, copy that. Lewis replies. Then Hank, being Hank, comes over the radio and starts saying something that sounds like the school teacher talking to Charlie Brown. Wah, 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 wah. But the one thing I did understand was, bring him on, brother. We'll be here. So I replied, copy that, Hank. Here we go. I probably didn't take 15 steps and heard my dog Ishi. Heard my dog Ishi give out one long moan. I get on my radio and say, y'all hold tight. Ishi's bumping on something. A few seconds passed, and Ishi moans once, and then sounds. I can still hear that dog. Moans once, and then sounds off 3 choppy barks. He's fixing to jump, be ready. Then Ishi breaks loose. Somehow, as I often do, I cut the fucking video off right in the middle of the goddamn story. I wasn't even touching the phone. I went in and told my wife, anyway, get back out there and finish reading it and we'll splice it together somehow. But she told me, anyway, so I'm gonna finish the story. So I replied, copy that, Hank, here we go. I probably didn't take 15 steps, and I heard my dog Ishi give out one long moan. I get on my radio and say, y'all hold tight. Ishi is bumping on something. A few seconds pass, and Ishi moans once, and then sounds off 3 choppy barks. He's fixing to jump, be ready. Then Ishi breaks loose. As I see 3 tails jump from a tree line. There they go, there they go. 3 doe heading to the cemetery at Plum Creek. Who's at the Burley Ball? No one responds as Ishii's voice gets further and further away. There are no shots. Damn it, who's at the Burley Barn? Again, nobody answers. I start thinking to myself about where the standers are, and with a frustrated voice, I mumble out loud to myself, I can't believe there's no one at the Burley Barn. Then, to my surprise, someone answers. Damn, son, I can't be everywhere. At least they didn't cross the river. I spun around to see who it was, but saw no one. It didn't matter. I knew who it was. All in all, we had a great end of the year hunt. It was kind of sad at first not seeing Bill there with everyone, but at least I got to visit with him for a little while by the river. I never told anyone I saw him back there. They would probably think I was crazy and needed a little rest. But I figure I can rest when I'm dead. And until I am, I'm going to keep driving dogs, chasing deer, and hiking hills. I suspect every now and then, when I'm catching my breath, I'll see Bill and we'll have a short visit. I figure as long as we keep getting together every year for the hunt, Bill will always be with us. And when Hank, Ray, Tom, and Ward, Lamar, and myself screw up the whole drive, it's nice to know there's someone covering the damn river. We were just in there. I got my wife to watch the video, and I was like, what do I do? I gotta get into the story. And as I'm watching it, more shit is just swirling around in my head. I was thinking about my boots and my feet. And when I said in the story about how I leaned up against a stump and how it felt good to be off my feet, and I'm thinking, God, aching ass. I was off my feet for 8 months, and all I wanted to do was get up. And, my hand, they cut on Bill, they were just cutting pieces off of him left and right. The last hunt, we were pushing him around in a wheelchair. They cut his foot off and cut something. He couldn't walk. Anyway, so I'm watching the video going, Jesus, I've turned into Bill. But, my wife didn't quite understand why I got so emotional about finding the quote on the legal pad. And she told me when I come back out here and read the story, maybe I should try and clarify that a little bit. So when I reach over and grab the legal pad, because I'm trying to keep notes of all these different points of contact that are going on in my head, and I want to write them down, and there's that quote. It was like it was just serendipitously showed up to remind me, to give me confidence about that fucking slide thing. Just this magic little quote on a yellow pad said, Kevin, you're an artist. Stop worrying about it and go create it. So, like the quote says, a craftsman knows in advance what the finished result will be, while the artist knows only what it will be when he is finished. And that's what we all are. We're all artists painting the story of our lives. We may not know what the final product will be or how one dot connects to another. But as we blend the colors and define the blurry lines, we know we are creating a masterpiece. My life, even though I cry a lot, has been a masterpiece. I've been blessed with a lot of good fortune, a lot of good friends, a lot of great experiences. That's why I'm an artist.